All right. If you're part of the investing world, DCA, what does DCA mean? It means dollar cost averaging. And the definition of DCA is that you put in a certain amount of money every month or every paycheck, however that comes for you, and it averages out, right? Dollar cost averaging throughout the year. An easy example of that is if you have a lump sum of $12,000 at the beginning of the year, you could then choose to put in $1,000 on the first of every month because there's 12 months, right? So that would be an example of a way to DCA. So, Jason, what are your thoughts on DCA? If you had $12,000 in January, do you believe that that is a good, or sorry, not believe, what are the pros and cons of doing that?
Yeah. Well, do I have hindsight? Because if I had hindsight, I could tell you the right answer. The problem is with investing, we never have hindsight. We only have speculation. So we're going to have this conversation truly because it's speculative. Investing is speculative. But my thoughts is I tend to lean in my mind. Again, I don't know if this is a weird malfunction in my mind. I just do it. Is I always look back on the actions that I took and I tend to say I could have done better, right? I could have done this better. So if I put the 12,000 at the beginning of the year, or if I put $1,000 in every single month, I would always look back and say, gosh, it would have been better if I chose the other thing, or I did good. Like I chose the better route. So I'm pretty risk averse when it comes to this type of thing. So I would lean more toward DCA, dollar cost averaging in every single month. I would just say, you know what? I don't want to take the risk that I'm going to make the wrong decision. So I'm just going to put in $1,000 in this example a month, every single month, and then just say, all right, well, that's the decision that I made. And then chances are it'll be okay because it averages out. Some months will I've bought higher, some months I bought lower, some months in between. That's okay. That's a good decision in general. That's kind of how I would lean. But again, everybody is different, right? And you and I always talk about this. We're gonna teach you and guide you to do what you feel is comfortable with, not what
Yeah,
Mike feels comfortable with or Jason feels comfortable with.
certainly. And I love that you go back and analyze, you self-analyze yourself, and that way you can see what does work and what doesn't work, and you could adjust for your future depending on your personality or the season of life that you're in. Because for me, my personality, if I had $12,000 in January, I want to put it all in January because the studies show that you come off slightly better ahead over time because the 12,000 is fully invested for a longer period of time. Now, again, we don't know the future. It could be a better time to buy in June or July in a calendar month. We don't know. Like Jason said, we're not, no one knows the future. So don't listen to those people that say they do. So the other benefit of putting it all in, not only is it in the market longer, but for me, I have to make that decision one time, right? I've decided I'm going to invest this money. I do not have the temptation to stop or pause that investment later in the year. Let's say I've gotten to June and I put $6,000 in, and then I got a new bicycle or a part for the RV that I want to purchase, or Elle and I want to get upgrade on a trip that we're doing. Well, I don't have that temptation of pausing it because, oh, I can take this $6,000 that I have earmarked for investment, but I haven't spent it yet. I have uh, I have again, the temptation to pause it and spend it somewhere else. And I don't like doing that. I like making that decision one time instead of 12 times of convincing myself this is what this is for.
That's so interesting, Mike. I mean, I've thought about that before, but never in these terms of like, because I've committed to it, right? This is the investing money. I'm
Mm.
gonna, take it out of my paycheck if I have a job or whatever, and I'm just gonna do this like a bill. But you're right in that if a shiny new object comes around and I decide, oh, I'd rather spend money on this, I can pause my investment things. It's not gonna be that bad, right? We say that in
Mm.
quotes. It's not gonna be that bad if I skip 1 month, but then a habit could be forming where I always have that extra money that I was supposed to put in investing, and I tend
Mhm.
to use it towards something else that comes along that I desire or I want. And then after 2, 3, 4 months, if I don't do that, it creates the habit of now I'm not investing anything. It's just
Yes.
none. And that could really harm me in the future when I look back and say, gosh, would have thought I had more at this point. Oh, that's right, because for a year and a half, I didn't do any investing because I was doing this other thing. So that's
Yes.
really interesting thought process when you talk about dollar cost averaging over the time or putting it all in the market because it's in there longer and you just make that decision one time. Yeah, I think that that's very fascinating.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing. And let's go extreme. I've had the conversation of, well, what if we get in a car wreck or somebody gets sick and we have hospital bills? Well, we don't know that that's going to happen. And if we, that's a very legitimate reason to pause your investing to take care of that new life or new emergency or whatever. I'm all for that. And in my example, had I put that $12,000 in January and I had an accident in June or July, the funny thing is, I'm still going to change my lifestyle enough to pay for those bills or let change the lifestyle. And I have already invested the 12,000 where I don't have to take it out. It's pretty interesting how the psychology of us as human beings, if something is bad enough, we are going to get it done,
Yeah.
right? For me, I'm going to save the 12 grand and I'm going to take care of this new accident or these new bills that I have taken.
Yeah, it's kind of like the cliche, like you will find a way to do what you need or want to do. But even if it's a purchase and it's not an emergency, like somebody's in a hospital or that you have bills, it's like if I wanted to go on that trip, like in Mike, in your example, you put all the $12,000 in, for your year, and you find out in June or July that you really wanted to go on this trip that you didn't see coming earlier in the year, you'll probably figure it out, like figure out a way to do it and you still have that money invested for the whole year and you're still going to go on the trip as well. Like you sacrificed in other areas and you say no to this thing and you scrimp on that thing so that you can reallocate those uh monies toward that trip because the trip is really high on the priority list. Like, yeah, we find a way to do the things that we really want to do.
Yeah. And this, we have only been talking about the dollar cost averaging part of investing, right? So putting money in their accumulation phase. What about the de-accumulation phase? Talk about those people that have reached retirement, their retirement number, if they've financial freedom, or the retirement age. Let's talk about
Yeah.
that. What's that feel like?
Yeah, it's so fascinating because when we're talking about dollar cost averaging, every conversation that I've had has always been the dollar cost averaging for younger people who are still working that are putting it in. But I had this thought the other day about like, well, what do we do when we're dollar cost averaging out, when we're taking income? Should we take our entire year's salary in retirement out in January and just live on that cash? Or would it be better to take out monthly income throughout the year? And again, because you don't know the markets, because you don't know what's happening, it's all speculative. So you could look back and say, well, I should have taken it all out early because the market just went down. Or you could kick yourself and say, gosh, I would have been better if I left it in because the market went up this year. So again, this is all your preference, but let's talk a little bit through what the pros and cons are. Like obviously you say, like if you just have that regular monthly income, dollar cost averaging out your withdrawals, you don't have the temptation to overspend like you would if you took the whole lump sum out in January. And then by August, September, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm out of money. I better take more money out, right? There's that temptation to take more. Like, well, I have the money in my investments. I'll just take more out instead of doing what we talk about, living on a budget, putting yourself on this discipline of I will live on $5,000 a month or I will live on $3,000 a month or whatever. And that's what you have coming out of your investments. Like I would lean more toward that because I want you to regularly learn how to live on that budget that you set. I'm not setting it for you. You set it and then live on that. That's just my leaning. What about you, Mike?
Well, this is great because I have actually done both in
Mm,
the sense that we've reached our financial freedom number and we have taken money out of investments over the last few years. Yeah, my first time was in 2022. So 3 years ago, I took out money. And I think what's best for us, or what I want to teach you guys, is do it when it's right for you,
mm,
right? We're not trying to, we teach you not to time the market on the way in, but don't try, and don't time the market on the way out. Great example. First time I took money out was to buy this RV. We took money out of investments at 60 for $60,000. And going and looking back and analyzing that, had I taken it out 2 months earlier, I would have had an extra 30 grand, right? So the numbers are I had $180,000 in the account, in this particular account. I could have taken 60 out then, but I waited 2 months and it had gone down to 130. I mean, 150. So it went down 30 grand, right? So 150. Then I took the 60 out. So therefore 90. And then 2 months later after that, it kind of, roller coastered and it was down another 10 or 20 grand. So timing it, I would have been better off 2 months earlier. But if I would have waited 2 months later, it would have been even lower. And then now, 3 years later, like it's just gone up, right? We know the data of 2022, the markets took a dip, and 23, 24, and 25, they've gone up. So, I mean, best case scenario, I didn't take any money out. I went and put more money in. But, you've got to spend the money. That's why we have invested. That's why we have saved to live your ideal life. So take it out when it's right for you. Now, I told you I've done both, right? I was a lump sum and I have taken a certain number of money out each month. My personality, Elle and I, our personalities are just like Jason said, is to do that every month because we don't have the opportunity to overspend. It keeps us in check. An example could be $5,000, right? If you take $5,000 every first of the month, then you have 60 grand to spend for that year. You have $5,000 in January. If you don't spend it all, then you can roll it over, right? If you only spend three, you have $2,000 left. You have $5,000 come on the first. So February, you can spend 7,000 or keep going until you hit that trip in June or July. Maybe you do summer trips, right? Whatever that is for you. But I believe Elle and I will continue, or once we need that money from retirement accounts, then we will take the certain amount of money every single month.
Yeah, that's really good. I mean, again, there's no right way or wrong way to do this because it is your life and your money, and it depends on what your risk tolerance is as well. Like, do you think that, you would feel better, you would sleep more at night if you had the cash sitting there in your savings account and you didn't worry about, oh, I can't take the cash, I can't take my investments out next month because the markets are going down and I don't want to lose more money. If you sleep better at night, do that thing, whatever makes you sleep better at night, because we're here to help you live your ideal life. We're not here to make sure that every single penny and every single dollar is the most efficient. Like, you're not going to be the most efficient because, no, again, you can't figure that out. Nobody can figure that out. So do what's comfortable for you, make the decision, make it confidently, and then live your life, right? Don't focus on the past and like what you should have done and what you should have could have done and all this other stuff. Like, I found, I'm coming up on 48 now, and it's like the older I get, the more I wish that I hadn't worried about the past. Like, let's move forward. Let's just do this. Yes, maybe it cost me more money. Maybe it cost me whatever, but it's just stress when you worry about what's happened that you can't change. So make the decision that works best for you and then move on with your life instead of worrying about the past for sure.
Yeah. And if you have more questions when it comes to taxes or the type of accounts that you have or the type of investments to invest in, that's why we've created ILMA Investing Course to answer those questions. So if you're just getting a taste of what DCA is, or this is the first time you've heard of dollar cost averaging, be sure to jump in and check out the link below to get into the ILMA investing course. And we'll teach you all that you need to know to and grow your investments on the accumulation and de-accumulation phases.
That's a perfect thing, Mike. Like, the investing course does have everything that you want. Okay, so we'll see you in the course and we'll see you in another video.